Urban style, we are hardcore, even though we're not, and we feel a lot of things. Hello, beautiful people. I'm Shemaya. It's like papaya, except it's not. This is Plot Twist Please, and this is another mini-sode for ya. I've been gone for a while. I know life has been really busy. I've been trying to get these self-tape auditions in. As you know, I'm an actor and a singer and a writer, and so I've been doing a lot of writing, a lot of singing gigs, and submitting for auditions, and so it's been a really wild time. That's why I haven't been as present on here, but I am back, and we're coming back stronger. We're coming back with more content, and today I'm going to talk about sensory overload and how to remedy it when it happens. So, a while ago, I made a video about burnout. And burnout for someone who's autistic, and as you know, if you followed me for a long time or if you've been a subscriber for a long time, you know that I'm autistic. And being an autistic actor is interesting. For me, it's not as difficult being a stage actor because I'm hyposensitive and I don't necessarily react very strongly to bright lights and loud noises. There are other sensory processing things that I do have issues with, but those are not among them, which I'm grateful for because it means that I can do what I love. Right now with Miss Pandemic, lately haven't been on a stage, but I do really miss it. That being said, there should be more accommodations for people who are sensitive to certain sensory elements. Wow, that's a tongue twister. Yes, that's another topic in of itself, making creative fields more accessible. Putting that in my back pocket for later because it will come up again, believe you me. Today, I'm going to talk about sensory processing and what I do when I have found myself in a situation of sensory overload. If you're asking yourself, Shemaya, what is sensory overload? I've never heard that term before. I have certain things that I associate it with, but I'm not certain. What is it? Well, my pals, here we go. Quick detour into neurology, psychology land, all right? Have you ever heard of the book, Highlysensitiveperson? Well, there are some key elements outlined in that book that I want to point out to you right now. Female authors, we love it, we live for it. Creativity. Now me, I consider myself a highly sensitive person, and I also am autistic, so that just contributes to that whole thing, all right? I feel a lot of things, okay? And there's nothing wrong with feeling a lot of things. Don't let anyone tell you any different, okay? So sometimes what happens with me when I am in a situation where I'm having sensory overload is usually it's because not necessarily that there's a loud noise in one room that I'm in, but 9 times out of 10, it's because there are a lot of different quiet noises or noises that are at different levels, but my brain can't really differentiate between the noises that are important and the ones that aren't. And so they kind of just mesh together into one cloud of sound. Like my brain is kind of like, wait, okay, I'm supposed to be paying attention to that thing. Oh no, wait, I'm supposed to be paying attention to that thing. Oh wait, I'm supposed to be paying attention to that thing. And for that reason, it can cause sensory overload for me. And note that I said it's not necessarily loud noises, but it's when there's a lot of different noises happening at one time. So for example, and this has happened in, rehearsal rooms, and I've kind of just managed, I've just kind of dealt with it. But what tends to happen, even like if I'm rehearsing with my siblings who I'm in a singing group with, and one of them will be sitting right here singing, and we are trying to harmonize, but then someone is playing on a keyboard on their phone, like all the way across the room. Even if that dial, even if the volume on their piano on their phone is like at a 2, it will sound like the loudest thing in the room to me. Even though the person who's singing at me is right in front of me and that sound of the piano is way over across the room, that noise all the way across the room will still feel like it's just as loud, if not louder, than the person who's talking right next to me or singing right next to me. I know, brains are weird. Brains are weird, everyone's brain is weird. That's just a weird thing that my brain does. So when your brain has had enough of that, it can cause you to be really cranky, it can cause you to be irritable, it can make you want to take a nap. And I have felt all of those things. And it's not something that I do on purpose. Sometimes it's just you've had enough. Your brain has had enough. Your brain is done taking in information and literally cannot focus on one thing at a time at that point, and so it just needs to peace out for a second. Like if you've eaten a lot of food and your digestive system is working really hard and you fall asleep because the other parts of your body are like, well, we don't have any energy because all of the energy is being sucked up by the digestive system, so we gotta peace out. We gotta take a breather. That's what your brain does if you're someone who has experienced sensory overload. You know, that happens to me sometimes too with textures. Like if I am wearing a material on my body, like an item of clothing where the fabric is not necessarily like cotton or silk or something that's really smooth and low key for me, the fabrics that are better for me. Wearing a kind of fabric that isn't that for an extended period of time, you can just at one point be like, I'm done, I'm irritated, and I don't know why, like I'm just irritated. Maybe it's because that fabric that you're wearing, or, you know, maybe the lights are too bright, you need to dim them, things like that. And so that's something that a lot of autistic people experience. It just means that those are needs. Like, it doesn't mean that they are special. It doesn't mean that these are special needs. It just means that they're something to pay attention to. If you are one of those people, whether it's being autistic, whether it's you having ADHD or the like, or any of the things that I just described, come home. We're in the same boat. Something that I like to do is I like to wear something that's really comfortable on my skin. Like what I just mentioned, I wear cotton, I wear not necessarily satin. I like wearing silk, and I like wearing polyester. And those are things that just really, regardless of my surroundings, just make me feel more grounded. I also really like wearing fuzzy socks. You probably know the ones I'm talking about, and if you don't, I have them right here. Aren't they cute though? Aren't they cute just like me? And they're fuzzy on the inside. And I will wear these all year round. All year round. And if you're wondering, Shamaya, do your feet get hot? They don't. All of my extremities are always cold. So no, my feet don't get hot, ever. So that's one of those things. It's whether it's fuzzy socks, a fuzzy sweater, some nice silk pajamas. Yeah, do what you gotta do, fam. Another thing that I like to do is I like to have emergency foods. So I'm someone who likes to bite things, and I've always been someone who likes to bite or to fidget or to chew on things that I could chew into smaller pieces and keep chewing them smaller and smaller and smaller. Another sensory thing, stimming thing. And if you don't know what stimming is, you can take a look at one of my earlier videos about stimming, or maybe it's up here. Don't know where it's gonna be, but it's gonna be somewhere clickable on this screen. You can take a look at that, where I talk about more in depth how I stim and how stimming is not bad, and how there are ways to curb it if you have a stimming habit that's not conducive to a healthy lifestyle. But there are ways to curb it and to make it easier on you and easier on your environment. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can take a look at that right now and make a U-turn right back over here when you're done, okay? So, a way that I like to have emergency foods for stimming is I like to have gum, because gum is something that you're not going to end up binging it. Like, it's not something you're gonna have to like go down the hatch and it's gonna just become a compulsive thing. It's something that is harmless. Gum doesn't have harmful chemicals in it, to my knowledge. I don't even know, girl. I don't know what I'm putting. Nobody knows anything about what we're putting in our bodies. We're doing our best, though. We are doing our best. I like 5 gum because their spearmint flavors are really potent, and they last a really long time. We are here for a long time, not just a good time. Cause like, can't we have both? Anywho, another thing that I do to combat sensory overload once it happens is I like to, sometimes it gets to the point where I have to separate myself from other people, or I have to just put up my cone of silence, maybe go to the bathroom, or you know, go somewhere where other people aren't. And sometimes I have to just whoosah. You know, whether that's taking a few deep breaths, and you could try this if you want, or you could try one of those apps that are meditation apps that last like they have those like 3-minute sessions or like 60-second sessions. Sometimes it's all you need to just get a little bounce back, you know, to just get a little rebound in you. Because here's the thing, I've heard from other autistic people that you can mask your meltdowns. Because sometimes when you have sensory overload, it results in a meltdown that you can't necessarily control. That it's just you just being like, God, like this is a lot for me. I've learned that people have mastered masking those, which can't be healthy. That can't be healthy. It makes a lot of sense. That's why I have a lot of tension in my body. Yeah, that's not healthy. But that's why stimming is good. You can release that energy out of your body. You know, some people shake their hands, some people wiggle, some people sway from side to side. That has been more helpful for me, swaying back side to side. So those are 3 mechanisms you can utilize when you are experiencing sensory overload. And you can write this on a little note card if you want, so that when you're experiencing, you can just whip it out and be like, oh yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm a big fan of having written reminders where that you can just like whip them out, or on a little keychain, or tucked in your wallet. I talked about like miniature coping cards in one of my videos. You can also take a look at that video. So that's all I have for you on sensory overload and how to remedy it when you're experiencing it. I wish you all the happiest and healthiest of days, and stay weird, y'all. Bye. Mwah. Gotta get these edges, cause they are trying to be free of me because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. So, urban chic, yes.